I have tried starting this Booktube channel before, and every time I have talked myself out of it, which is funny because my entire life revolves around reading and writing. So I am done overthinking it. Welcome to my newbie tag. Got the questions listed out here on my iPad so that I don't miss something, and I've made a few notes because this is one of the reasons why I always talk myself out of doing book talk. Is I feel like I make a video and then I haven't really said the things that I wanted to say. So notes it is. Question number 1, what are some unique things that you can bring? I read across a lot of genres, so my channel won't lean in just only one direction. One week I might be reading a cozy fantasy, the next week I might be reading a haunted house horror. I read fantasy, sci-fi, lit fic, classics. I read across a lot of different genres. I also write for a living. I am a ghostwriter and I do a lot of other different writing things. So I can bring kind of a crafting writing perspective into my reviews. Sometimes I will lean in an academic way, but that a lot of times just helps me explain why things work. I do have a master's in creative writing, so my viewpoints a lot of times are lended a little bit more towards the craft and the writing and the storytelling than it is looking for hidden gems amongst the writing. I live in a place where our library is very small. We don't really have a bookish community, so I'm really excited to reach out and make some bookish friends, get some great recommendations, and I really think I bring kind of a mix that you might not see elsewhere. Question 2, what are you most excited for? Honestly, it's the conversations. No one in my house reads either, so I don't really get a lot of opportunities to talk about books and discuss them. Of course, I make everyone listen in my house about the books that I'm reading, but they're just not that interested. The characters in stories, they live in my head, and I like to talk about things like an author who took the hero's journey and kind of turned it on its head, or villains who did something unique and interesting story-wise. I've been on TikTok for about a year, I would say, and I'm loving the conversations that I have over there. So I think it's just kind of natural to segue into long-form content at this point. And I'm also excited to finally make this channel something real instead of something that I've posted to once or twice and then just kind of ignored. I'm ready to do it now instead of someday. The next question is, why do you love reading? Reading for me is one of the easiest ways to kind of reset my brain. I spend most of my day writing. I spend a lot of time answering emails and talking to clients. And so living in someone else's world for a little while is just something that I find soothing and calming. Even when I'm reading something scary or intense, I'm one of those people that likes to listen to heavy metal to calm down, right? So I love how books can stretch my understanding of the world, how they can introduce me to cultures and people that I would never have the opportunity to come in contact with. I love how much I can learn from books, whether I'm reading nonfiction or whether I am immersing myself in a story. There's always something that I take away that changes me and I think makes me a better person. It's a hobby that I've had for my entire life. I mean, when my sisters and I were little, we used to assign each other book reports for fun. So it's just who I've always been. The next question is, what book got you into reading? I don't really have a single origin book because I think I've been fascinated by books for so long. When I was 6 years old, I actually wrote my first book. I still have it. It's called Baby Animals, and it's very, very bad because I was 6. But it's just a cute little book. I wrote like a 4-line poem for each of these baby animals and who was friends with who, and then I drew pictures, typed it up, and stapled it all together. So I can't really pinpoint a single book that's ever got me into reading, and there's never really been a point in my life where I stopped reading. But I would say for kind of the bulk of my life, it's been thrillers and mysteries that really have carried me through, as well as discovering some amazing classics like Sherlock Holmes and Edgar Allan Poe, and really just keeping my interest up as I continue to find new and wonderful things to read about. The next question is, what kinds of books do you like to read? I've kind of covered that a little bit, but I read a lot. I read classics, sci-fi, fantasy, lit fic, nonfiction, speculative fiction. I'm getting ready to jump into a Western. I read kind of a lot of things. The only thing that I really don't read is I haven't really gotten into some of the more intense horror, and I don't read a lot of romantasy unless it is a classic. I find that the modern romances they just don't really click for me very well, but I love romances like Emma and Wuthering Heights and things like that. Where do you read? The answer to that is anywhere. I will read anywhere. For the most part, I read on my couch, or I listen to audiobooks while I am cleaning or driving or doing any of those types of things. I read in bed. I have a little kind of reading nook in an entryway here in my Sherlock room. I will show you guys that room at some point. Really just anywhere. If I get caught waiting at a doctor's office, I will read on my phone or a Kindle. I read physical books, audiobooks, Kindle books, Apple books. I'm constantly reading. What does your book collection look like? Right now, it looks a little bit chaotic. I've recently not really renovated, but I reorganized my office, and I have 2 bookshelves in here, plus these that you see behind me. I have books in windowsills. I have books in boxes right now because we are painting the living room and adding some shelves in there. So it's chaotic. My newer books look like they haven't been read until you see some of them that have like a lot of tabs and annotations. I don't annotate every book that I read. Some of my books are very well loved because I've picked them up used at thrift stores or antique stores where they have been gifted to me. I have quite a collection of books that have been gifted to me by English teachers that are retiring, but I take really good care of my books. So right now my collection is pretty chaotic. I do kind of with my collection, as I've been revamping it and putting things back where they're going to go or into their new homes, I have been trying to organize shelves by genre, but that's about as organized as I get. Questions to ask your favorite booktubers. This one is really difficult because I think I am the type of person who once I get comfortable with commenting, I will just ask those questions. But my main questions would be, how do you kind of handle the pressure of constantly coming up with new ideas and making new content without draining the fun of reading? I'd ask how they manage their TBR. Mine is infinite. There is no end. I actually went through a small, like 15-minute existential crisis that repeats every so often when I was in college, thinking that there is no way that I will ever live long enough to read all of the books that I want to read. And I would also ask what part of their channel still feels the best to them after they've grown so much. Like, what keeps inspiring them to create bookish content. Challenges to overcome. There's a lot. Consistency would be number one. Every time I've tried to start Booktube before, I just get way too much into my head. I spend too much time planning. I spend too much time overthinking my setup. And this setup is not complete. But this is where I'm starting. You know, I've got a basic setup. I've got a good microphone and a little bit of lighting. So I think at this point it's not worrying about perfection, and it's just getting going. Like, this is all blank here. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that space yet. But I decided it's time to just stop worrying about whether everything has the vibe that I want and the feel that I want, and just start talking about books. I want to get better at filming and posting and kind of working towards learning how to film some of that aesthetic vibe that I really would like to include, and I'm not really sure how to go about that exactly yet, but I'll figure it out as we go. And I know that people on Booktube are very, very warm and welcoming and open. So I know that as I fumble through this, you guys will give me all the grace that I need to figure out how to really edit videos. I am much better with words on a page than I am with visual media. So that's definitely a challenge that I have to overcome. And then the final challenge, I think, is just giving myself permission to just talk and ramble and love books, and share that outwardly rather than keeping it all inwardly. So I'm really just looking forward to it. If you've made it this far, thank you so very much. I am so glad that you're here. Starting this channel is something that I've really talked myself out of for years. It feels really good to finally just sit down, hit record, and get some things done. I'm really excited to see where this goes. I hope you stick around for the reviews, I'll throw in some crafting on occasion. I do knitting, crochet, cross stitch, and I'm constantly trying to dabble in other things, and I hope that you will join me for this ride. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. I promise. I swear. I'm gonna do it.